Listen to this particular presentation and see where it will lead us to. Okay, continue.
Okay, good evening, class. My name is Michael, and I'm here to present Augustine of Hippo, 354 to 430 Common Era, and his works and the impact on conflict and peace, exploring the relevance of his ideas in today's world. Okay, so moving on, who is Augustine of Hippo? Augustine of Hippo is a theologian, 14th to 15th century theologian and a bishop. And he's a philosopher, and he wrote his works play a huge role in shaping the Western philosophy or perspective. And he wrote a couple of works which are very famous, which are one of it is The City of God, Confession, and more. That is one of his works. And he laid down the foundation for just war theory. Today we've had a lot of debates on just war theory. So the person who laid the foundation for that concept is this man called Augustine of Hippo. So he is basically the one that laid the foundation to what we know today as just war theory. And he's influenced Christian thought, ethics, and political philosophy. He's influenced Western philosophy and politics. I mentioned that earlier. So moving on, his key idea on peace and conflict. His key idea on peace and conflict is two cities concept. That is, according to Augustine of Hippo, he believes his idea is on two cities. That is, one of the cities is the city of God, which is founded on the foundation of love, peace, and justice. Yeah, Augustine of Hippo believes that the city of God that has these virtues, that city thrives, that city prospers, more than in contrast to the city of man, which is built on the foundation of pride, power, and conflict. So Augustine of Hippo, as a philosopher, I would say he's a liberalist. So not even my own opinion, his works actually embodies liberalism. So the second key idea of his work on peace and conflict is peace as tranquility of order. Augustine of Hippo, he's of the ideology that peace is very much needed for there to be order and tranquility. He's an advocate of that. So true peace means justice, harmony, and moral order. For Augustine of Hippo, for peace to exist, there should be justice. Because true peace leads to justice. So the absence of justice would lead to conflict. That is what is basically, that is what this key idea on peace and conflict, one of his key ideas on peace and conflict is the meaning of that. For peace to exist, there must be justice. And this actually laid a foundation for most of the conventions that we have today, like the UN conventions and other conventions that we have today. So his work laid that basic foundation for all of that. Moving on, I mentioned that just war theory, that he is the person that laid the foundation for just war theory. So Augustine's condition for just war, that the war must be just cause. Example, defense. Is one of the reasons he laid for a war to be justified. In his opinion, that there should be a just cause. For example, if a country is defending itself from an external aggression, for him it is justified. So legitimate authority for a war to be justified, the war must be coming from a legitimate authority and not from random people or rebels. For example, governments or international bodies must ratify that war for it to be justified, according to Augustine of Hippo. Then right intention, aim for peace. That is why one of the ways we war could be justified. At last resort, only after diplomacy fails. That is when negotiations have failed, when the two conflicting countries have tried to settle their differences, and that has failed. I mean, they have done everything, they exhausted every avenue or opportunity to settle their differences, and that has failed. According to Augustine of Hippo, that is the only way a war could be justified. Then, foundation for modern international laws and peace efforts. Then, the just war theory the foundation that he laid for just war theory has been the foundation for modern international law and peace effort. I mentioned that earlier. And then we have the contemporary applications of his ideas, his thoughts. Number one, the UN peacekeeping missions. His ideas laid the foundation for what we know today as UN peacekeeping. Yeah, most of the operations that the UN operate with, the foundation for that came from his works. That is, moral principles equal just war theory. South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Forgiveness and transformation reflects Augustinian ethics. After apartheid, is it apathy or apartheid? After that event in South Africa, the Nelson Mandela, which is like the figurehead of that era, forgave the people that treated them like subhumans, even though right today there's a debate ongoing if he should have forgiven them or not. You know, there's actually, South Africa is divided into two groups. They both have their opinions about this action of Nelson Mandela. But we're not paying attention to their opinions or to the division. What we're paying attention to is where did Nelson Mandela, what informed Nelson Mandela's decision, you know? So it's coming from Augustine of Hippo's theories, works that he had done on peace, because he's actually a liberalist, and liberalism embodies peace. You know, liberalism believes that peace is the ultimate out of everything. It's not like realism. The concept of realism is almost like opposite of the concept of liberalism. So religious peacemaking. Example, Saint Egidio. Saint Egidio is a group of I think it's the Roman Catholic group that mostly what they do is they interfere. Not really, what they interfere, they kind of help to dialogue for peace in troubled regions. These people they walk all over the world. They've been to Africa, South Sudan, for example, Central African Republic, when they have crisis, when they had crisis in those regions. This religious organization came in and to broker peace. We also saw that during the Biafran War. They also came in to broker peace during the Biafran War, the religious body. It's kind of a religion from the Vatican City, from Italy. So all these are informed from Augustine's theories. You understand? He's the one that laid the foundation for whatever they are doing. His theory actually laid the foundation for those. So moving on, we have moral and spiritual lens. Augustine challenges us to see peace as more than politics. Augustine challenges us to see peace as more than politics. You know, he challenges us that peace shouldn't be about who gets what, when, and how. Peace peace should be about tranquility. You know, peace he sees us to see it more than politics. To see the spiritual lens, moral lens of peace. Yeah, because he believes that peace brings about tranquility, you know. So he sees it as more than politics. We see the moral part of it as well. That it is very, very important to see the moral part of peace. Conflict often arises from pride, injustice, and moral decay. So he's an advocate of morality. That is Augustine, because he's a Christian theologian, you know, and a Christian philosopher. So he's an advocate of morality over politics. That is why I say he's a liberalist. He's an advocate of morality. He believes that when people when people have love in them, when they have justice, they give justice, there will be peace. You know, because according to him, we should cultivate these virtues of love. You know, because when we don't have love, when we don't have the sense of justice, there's definitely there will be anarchy as people when we don't have that in us. He believes that you cannot give what you don't have. So first of all, you have to cultivate it within you as an individual before you share it with the world. So he believes that as a people, we should cultivate peace first amongst ourselves before we can share it with the world. So peace must be rooted in justice, love, and ethical leadership. This is what he stands for, moral and spiritual lens. To seek peace from the lens of morality, not from the lens of politics. So moving on, why it matters today. Why does Augustine's theory on peace and conflict matters today is that global conflict needs moral clarity and spiritual depth. Global conflict needs moral clarity and spiritual depth. Why, if for example, if a country is going into war with another country, why they should ask the question: why are we going into this war? Is it morally okay to kill another human being? Like, if those key actors, because every war has people that are key actors to that war. There are people that are the figureheads, people that engage in that war on behalf of the larger society. If those actors can ask themselves this question, this moral question, according to Augustine of Hippo, he believes that there will be peace. Like if they can answer that question genuinely, that it will reduce the level of conflict in the world. That is according to Augustine of Hippo. Let's remember that we are treating his theory, you understand, his thoughts on peace and conflict. So Augustine's works teaches inner peace leads to outer peace. I mentioned that earlier, that you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't have peace within you, you cannot give it out. So it has to start from your inside before you can give it out. So peace building needs patience and integrity. Peace building is a process. It's not something that is rushed, you know. And the actors need to have integrity for peace building process to be credible. There should be integrity on the part of the actors. But the question is, these thoughts and philosophy from Augustine, isn't it too idealistic? Is it really something that is something that can be achievable? Isn't it too idealistic? Because the truth of the matter is that war happens in our world today, and most of these actors that engage in these wars, they don't see things from this perspective. They see everything that they're doing is interest, politics. It's about politics. It's not even about morality. Like, morality is for weaklings, you get, and politics, strength, interest, grab resources. They just want to get power. That is what drives conflict in today's world. So, in my opinion, I think most of his arguments are idealistic. They're not really practical in the sense of the world we're living today. That is in my opinion. So, moving on. Conclusion: Augustine's legacy continues to shape peace effort worldwide. The missionaries go to intervene in conflict areas. These missionaries, most of them, what they do is they borrow from the works of Augustine. They use most of the works he has put out there to broker peace for troubled regions of the world. So the question is, do they succeed or not? That is the question. Do these missionaries, when they go to broker peace, do they succeed or not? So his vision reminds us that true peace is both ethical and spiritual. True peace is both ethical and spiritual. That means it's from inside out. true peace, according to Augustine, is from inside out, not from outside in. It's from within. So let's apply his wisdom to build a more just and peaceful world. So that is he admonishes us to apply more of morality, like whenever we are taking decisions. If, for example, tomorrow we find ourselves in places of power, in places where we have to take decisions, places where we have to make decisions for millions of people, we should apply some sense of morality. We should ask ourselves critical questions, before we take that decision. That is what he is trying to remind us today. You understand? Because all of us here, tomorrow we might be in places of authority, places of power, where we make policies for millions and thousands of people. So we should, Augustine admonishes us to apply morality instead of politics, instead of politicizing everything. We should apply morality in whatever decision we are to make. So that's on the works of Augustine and how it relates to peace and conflict, and how it relates to contemporary society today. So that is all for now. So I don't know if we have any questions or contributions. So let's
Okay, question. First of all, I would like to remind you that we are now moving from core philosophers to religious philosophers.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Please, can you be audible?
The question is this: in the world today, we have different religions, different belief system. Then, if we are to use this particular guidance idea of artificial true morality, do you think it can be achieved? Because the moral background of a Muslim is not seen as a Christian. So, if you are to make it and use it to achieve peace in society today, do you think it can work? Just a little about 40%, but I'm really just do you think it can work? Having seen different religions with different beliefs and practices, what you have as a Christian, being nurtured in a Christian background, is not seen as a Muslim, same like you understand? Different religions scattered over the world. So how do we now achieve? Because this one is a Christian, he's not a Muslim. And how do we achieve peace through this theory?
Okay. First of all, I'm a realist. Right? I want to believe that I'm a realist because my views of the world are more realistic. Like I try to see things from a realist point of view. But having said that, I believe that every religion in the world today, the foundation of every religion in the world today, no matter the religion, is love, peace. Peace is at the core foundation of every religion in the world today. Every single religion love and peace is always what they preach. But the truth is, as human beings, like I'm now coming from a realistic point of view, we are not perfect. You understand? There is no perfect society, and as you cannot say that human beings cannot practice totally his ideology, like his thoughts it's very difficult for people as people to practice it. But if they can, I want to believe to a very large extent, the conflict we have in the world today wouldn't be it wouldn't be up to this. We wouldn't get up to this level of, because in the world today there's crisis everywhere. In Africa, in Europe, everywhere there are crises everywhere in the world. So if the world could listen to Augustine of Hippo and put into practice his philosophy, I want to believe to a very large extent it will influence peace. And there will be relative peace and conflict will. But the reality on ground, so that's what I'm saying now, as a realist, is that it's next to impossible for human beings to actually to practice what he said. So that is my response. I don't know if anybody has anything to add to.
Just so, there's a different, it's probably it's another, and there's a different way to achieve peace. In the view, in the concept of the American view, you understand, the think of achieving peace is going to war, winning them, and make the peaceful ways of the country. You understand? So, we got to know the method in achieving peace, which different religions has already taught their members. Do you understand this? The method, because we are talking about achieving peace here. A Christian believe that if you slap me and the sheep, I will watch you, I will turn the other side, give it to you and you slap. Then, have we talked about the Muslim side? If they slap me, do you think that they believe in the same approach of achieving peace as we believe?
Okay.
That achieving peace should be, if your brother do something wrong to you, you neglect it, avoid it. Do we think, because we are not in the region, but do we think that same approach Christianity is using in achieving peace is the same approach other religions is using in achieving peace?
Okay, so I don't know, you have something to say on that before
Well, yeah. What I've observed over the years and throughout history, typically societies are only as peaceful as they are societies are about as peaceful as they are like resource rich. When people have enough to eat, when people have enough, clean drinking water, they're less likely to go to war. But like we were talking about earlier, desperation, when people are mistreated badly enough for long enough, yeah, eventually they revolt when they got enough to lose. And yeah, I admit, I think human nature though overall is selfish. I think by how we wish we were is one thing, how we idealize ourselves. Yeah, we look at superheroes, we look at mythical figures, yeah, we think in reality, no. Who here, everyone confess. You ever had, say, there was a pizza, there was an even number of slices but an odd number of people, and you took an extra slice? Anyone ever done that? You took an extra cookie or whatever it was? I've done it. Have you ever played a game and you lost track, everyone lost track of whose turn it was, you saw an advantage and you took a turn and said, hey, I see an advantage, I'll say it's my turn. You ever done that? I think that's human nature. I wish we were better naturally, but no, I don't think innately we're good, I don't think I think innately we're the same the way animals get greedy, the way animals fight over things, different as we think, we still do it.
Yeah. So, in addition to what he said, I would also, just like I mentioned earlier, that the core value of every religion in the world is to promote peace and love. I'm a Christian, but I don't really know what happens in other religions but I want to believe that the core value of all of them is love and peace. That is what they preach. So, however, human nature interferes. Human nature will always interfere. That is why you wouldn't have a perfect system that would practice everything that Augustine has suggested. Because of our human nature. Human nature, we are naturally greedy as humans. We want to grab. We want to grab and grab and grab. So human nature will always interfere. Therefore, we cannot have absolute peace. As a realist, I'm speaking from the point of a realist now. But liberalism would at the top of liberalism, they believe that peace, absolute peace is possible. But as a realist, I'm speaking that I'm saying that human nature always intervenes. No matter what how perfect that theory is or that idea is, human nature in us will always interfere and there will conflict. So that is my answer to that. So I don't know if anybody has any more question or contribution.
So you are talking about the cause of the war is about human nature, not religious practices.
I don't understand. What cause of what war?
The cause of the conflict. You're talking about even though you're trying to establish peace between human nature and something, right? So it's not all about what the doctrine has impacted, the impact of the doctrine in human nature. But do you get it?
I don't get your question.
Now, the question I mean is because I'm very concerned in the approach we use to maintain or achieve peace. The concept of another religion conflicts with the idea of Christian in achieving peace. Now, you're talking about the human nature. Human nature must intervene because of greed, because of selfishness. Quite understandable. Does it mean that the practice in the doctrine, what we believe in, don't have any impact? Because this is a religious theory.
Yeah.
So let's focus on the doctrine. What different
Morality.
So,
Morality is what
Yeah.
he focuses on over politics. You understand? His works are on morality. That people should be moral. People should have sense of morality. You understand? Society should have sense of morality. And I want to also believe that most religion also believes in morality. Most religion, like morality is a big deal, like the thing in most religion. I don't know, but I'm just saying that morality is most religion. Morality is so we are looking at this point from Augustine's point of view. Augustine is a Christian theologian and a philosopher. So from his point of view, he is advocating that every action, everything we do should be governed by morality. You know, we should see the humanity in people before we take any action. So if global leaders, if thought leaders, if people that can make decisions for us can put into practice his advice, like before they make decisions to go to war, they actually question the consequences of the war. If they can do that, we will have a better world. But in reality check, these guys don't do it. What drives them is ego, the power to grab power and to grab resources. That is what drives majority of our global leaders. Not just today, even in the past. And that's as a result of human nature. So human nature must always play a role in our world today. So that is why we have conflicts.
You are really away from my question.
I don't really understand. I don't know what
My
you
question
want me
is
to do.
this, because this is a religious theory. You understand? This is a religious theorist. Now, my question is this. Does the doctrine we practice has impact in what we do today? That is what I'm trying to say.
To the best of my knowledge, I think I've answered you.
So you are talking about human nature. Human nature is quite different with religious practicing. Because if for example, I'm a Christian, I understand that when you slap me, I can neglect it. I will leave you for peace for it. Does it applicable in another person?
Okay, are you a Muslim? Are you a Muslim?
That is what I want to understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your religion? What's your religion, please?
I'm a Christian, bro.
You're a Christian.
Yeah.
Then how do you know what they practice in the other religion?
Wait.
How sure are you that what they are practicing is different from what they are practicing?
With what is happening in the world?
And what is that thing that is happening in the world?
With what is happening in the world?
What is that thing that is happening in the world?
With what is happening in the world?
Tell us now what is happening in the world. We don't know.
Bro, we are analyzing here. We are analyzing and we are discussing. I want to
You
understand.
have to make your point clear. What is that thing that is happening in the world?
It's quite unfortunate that another religion is not here. You understand? That person could have tell us the belief practicing. Because not the way, in a military view, not the way they believe in achieving peace is the same as a civilian believes.
Remember, this is Augustine's.
I understand.
And so let's not. I think you are trying to move. This is Augustine's
I'm trying to
philosophy.
I'm trying to bring you to idea that what may, this is my suggestion, this is my view, that what may, the thing that may lead this particular theory not to be successful in the community today, in society today, may be as a result of the practicing other religions are giving. I don't know, but that is my suggestion. You understand? It may be what they are practicing there because the belief system matters. Now,
Okay, so Please,
one
could you
that
allow us
when-
to speak, please?
Okay, you can.
Just raise your hand.
You are
Just do you have the mic?
But Mr. Obi, you're asking a question based on the ideology that you believe that the way that the Christians will handle this matter is different from the Muslim or the Hindus.
Yeah.
But what makes you so sure that it's different? Yet they're all religion and we're all having a supreme being.
Because now everybody has its belief
No,
system.
but you're believing,
No.
you're choosing to believe that it's different.
What? Yeah.
And I'm choosing to believe that it's not.
I
So
see, because
technically-
every religion technically must have its belief system.
Yes, but we're all having,
If you want to be
but all of
it.
them, so
Yeah.
all of them have belief in a supreme being. All of them practice love within the community.
Yeah.
All of them preach peace.
Peace.
Yeah.
In their own
Morality.
way,
Yeah.
but they do preach peace.
Yeah.
Right?
But the approach is maintaining that this is what our Christians do.
Which approach does
Now,
Christianity have?
now in Old Testament,
let me ask
wait.
you- no, let
In
me
Old
ask you-
Testament, we are taught that when somebody slap you, you slap that
You've used
person.
that example so many times.
Yeah,
but
this
it's
is religious. I
irrelevant.
have to reference it.
It's irrelevant to
Let
the
us
Muslim one that you're trying to
Let
ask.
us think critically. In Old Testament, we are meant to understand that.
You can't have two
Now,
conflicting ideas.
why
at
do
the
you,
same time.
what makes you think that there was abolishment of Old Testament and implementation of New Testament in the Bible? Now, read what is happening, what happened in the Old Testament when Moses, you understand, please, okay, when you get slap back, this is Old Testament. Now, New Testament is saying, Jesus Christ came down and said, oh, when you slap back, please don't do that.
Can I
Now,
ask you a
this is a different practice in Christian. And Jesus Christ see that this approach is wrong. And he brought a new approach. You understand? That made Christians seem to be weak. You understand now? Now, every religion has its belief system. Whether you agree or not, that is the simple truth. Now, the question is this. Every religion... Are you with the mic as I say that? Now, the question is this. Every religion preaches peace. In what approach are they achieving that peace? Every government, every political system preaches about love and peace as well. In what approach does they see that peace? Because this man is seeing peace in his own theory, in his own religious view. As a Christian. Now, a Muslim can come up and put his own theory in his own religious view as his belief system implies.
So I wouldn't know what the religious view of the Muslim would be. So let's focus on Augustine's religious view. That's the point. Let's focus on Augustine. We're talking about Augustine. You understand? His view of morality and politics.
If it happened that you say this, I wouldn't have come up with another question because you are just focusing on human nature. You understand? You are focusing on human nature, whereas this is a religious theory which focuses on religious and belief system. And this man is coming from his own belief system as a Christian. So if you don't know that this man is a Muslim, now it will be a quite different belief system.
Sorry, I did not focus on human nature. Was not this presentation was not about human nature. This presentation was about Augustine's thoughts on peace and conflict. Okay, it was your question that led me to talk about human nature. It was your question. I never mentioned. Please, can you allow me? I never mentioned human nature.
Okay, so let's round it up. Let's round it up. First of all, I must have to say that I quite understand. Do you understand or understood? Understand, right? I got the idea and the point of inevitability because, critically speaking, Augustine is coming from his own approach. So I guess the question is that, are we going with that approach or we have to look into other approaches because Muslim has different point of view. And when you talk about ethics, which Augustine is trying to impose on us, we don't have universal ethics. Because what might be considered ethical in Saudi Arabia is not the same in other areas, it's not the same in Myanmar or Thailand or in Nigeria or even in Western world. So where are we heading to? Because he's talking about ethics in his own point of view. So I hope I got your point. Yeah. So that is he's not trying, he's trying to let us not be focused only on one area. Just to be diversified. go home with ethical point of view in terms of war. But we have to also think about the other point of view. That's what I think he's saying. I think he's on the right track. And you also on the right track by maintaining your presentation.
Yes, and I said as a realist, because I don't like his works. I mentioned in my presentation, and most of his ideas are more of idealism. I said it.
It's not, in my own view, it's not idealist. It's just coming from his own background. That's all.
Yeah,
Moral
it's
principle
more
based on.
idealistic. It's more idealistic. It's in practical sense.
Who doesn't? No, he's respecting himself.
And we are also respecting his side.
We know what about respect. He's trying to say that we should view it from other point of view instead of going home with only Augustine
But
Hippo's.
now there's no proof that the Muslim side is different, is there, right now?
There's no proof.
Exactly.
So what?
Why?
Because there's no Muslim here to tell us that, you know what, in the Muslim
We don't need to
religion,
have Muslim here to tell us.
Are you not?
that is the realistic part of it.
This man, Steve is he here to tell you his own approach?
Okay, so let's hear any other person. Mr. Dad, you have anything to add?
I read to the past.
Okay. So any other person to add anything? I think the class has been loaded today.
Michael is good enough to have maintained what he studied and what he's presenting. He's telling us what his philosopher's point of view is. And his philosopher's point of view is maintaining the background of his religious beliefs and dictates. So any other thing outside that will no longer be, what's the name of that philosopher? Augustine. It will no longer be Hippo. It will be another person. However,
Can you get your stride from beginning?
if it must be taken, it should be taken maybe, this is an observation, yes. Whereas Augustine, Hippo has said this, and the worldview or the whole view can be this. But thank you very much, Michael, for allowing us to speak with what Hippo is telling us. Thank you.
And I thank all of you here for also trying to get away from Hippo so that you not Hipponize us only. That's why it's a classroom. I thank you very much. Actually, just like Dixie said, in the class, maintain your stand. Because that is why you are there. No matter how anybody tries to push you, maintain your stand. The person is correct. What I'm trying to, because it's not a question of right or wrong, it's a question of your position. You are presenting the person. No matter how each person tries to drive you away from there, because that is where they are punching you. So if you're not careful, that's why it's, you have to make sure that you are strong with that. Exactly as you have to understand it in any presentation. Make sure you maintain your point. Because that your point is very important. That's what they are trying to tell us. But another person might come on, with any whatever reason he wants or argument he wants to pull you down. Not the word pull you down, but to question and punch your position. And that is our responsibility to do so. But your responsibility is to be focused. Exactly. Very, very important. Okay.
Really kind of and you did mention of
We're not hearing you. Can you be a little bit louder?
advocates for peace. Why realism is the opposite? Can you throw more light? Because I'm confused. No, he said it.
Theory of pluralism and theory of pluralism. That's what most.
Yeah, that's what you see. That's what you say. That one is opposite. One is advocate of peace, and the other is opposite. What? I don't understand.
He has the right to ask questions.
Do you want the explanation of the reason why they need to
Okay, I think what his question is, what is realism and what is realism?
I don't know. Maybe
This is the one
because
who-
what I asked is, from what he said, that liberalism is an advocate for peace. Why realism is the opposite. So I want him to throw more light on that. He's not asking me. He's not asking me.
Because
Is that what the good
I
realism and
understand your question before I answer that. So what I mean when I said Augustine of Hippo is more a liberalist than a realist is that in the theory of liberalism, is more concerned with at the height of it, it's a theory that focuses on peace building more than it's a theory that focuses on peace building more than politics or interest, as opposed to realism. Realism is all about interest. It's all about the anarchy of the state. You understand? It's all about like a realist believes that the state is in perpetual anarchy all the time. Like, there's anarchy in the state. That is what a realist believes in. You understand that the realists believe that issues such as peace and conflict should be tackled from a realistic point of view. That is the point of view where humans are always at the state of conflict. You understand? There is always interest. So Augustine of Hippo is advocating that as people we should put morality, like we should put consideration ahead of politics, ahead of interest. You understand? That's what I mean by that.
You can also look at it here in case you are getting it. Say two cities concept. City of God, love, peace and justice. City of man, pride, power and conflict. Here, in my own view, it's talking about realist world. Remember what Thomas Hobbes said? I think you are the one that said, yeah, where is not today? Are you ready to present today? To present today? You want these people to kill me? I don't. Look at their faces and then you think I don't look at faces? After you give me a break. So you can then you have a clue of the key ideas of peace and conflict. So you see that Augustine's condition for just war. Justice, just war, example, defense. That's a liberal mind here. The legitimate authority, government, and international body. Of course, when you talk about international body, it means liberal aspect of the international community. Right intention, aim for peace. See that? Last resort, only after diplomacy fails. That's the liberal position.
I don't understand this.
Last resort. Yeah. Only when you must have discussed and plans of restoration of peace. When you must have
Exhausted.
yeah, that is when the war justified according to him. Foundation for modern international laws and UN peace effort. So of course they see some of his ideas in certain international community. Moral and spiritual lens. These are our church. Challenges us to see peace as more than politics. How do we see peace more than politics? Is it easy? Conflict often arises from pride, injustice, moral decay. Whose idea is this? Thomas Hobbes. Peace must be rooted in justice, love, and ethical leadership. Whose idea is this? Not to understand whether Thomas is there before Rousseau, or is he there before Locke. Wonderful. That's why we need a fresh day. A fresh day. Because if you just do it today, I beg you. These guys that are looking, their faces are changing like this. They pretend as if they are listening to it. Why it matters today? He said global conflict needs moral clarity and spiritual depth. He's not talking as a Christian. Augustine's word teaches inner peace leads to outer peace. Remember when we talk about peace and knowledge? Justice is essential to win peace. Remember we said peace is not about harmony, it's about justice in society. Peace building needs patience and integrity. You see, these are wonderful ideas about Augustine. So I thank you very much for your presentation today.